Chris and Alan again. Last night started a huge chain of paranormal events. I was in the kids' room trying to get Diana to be calm, which is right next door to this room. And Alan were in this room chilling. And I want to note that on the other side of the wall is the kids' closet. And out my corner of my eye, I see a figure, like a blur of a figure going from the closet into the hallway. Then there's a small pause, and then the motion sensor light went on. So, and there was like no noise indicating like a cat or a person walking by the light. We feel that might be a spirit from Alan that had been... You take it away.
The idea is that it's a spirit that was sort of... It's just a spirit guide of mine that was sort of fused to me during its creation. What I know about it was that it was it was an incomplete spirit that chose to be involved in the creation of a new one. Me. Part of what had happened last night was that my spiritual energy became very strong at one point, and we think that what Chris saw in the kids' bedroom was actually a physical manifestation of the spirit guide, which is known to happen. It's been known to visit people in their sleep, and this would be one of a few times that it's actually manifested physically. It's different than other things we've experienced in the kids' bedroom, and it coincides with my energies being at a heightened level the other night.
Alright, so Alan confides in me about this information about his spirit guide, and while he was doing so, we were in a parking lot, and it connects by yard to like a group of houses, and in that yard I felt this kind of like a bestial energy just like coming towards us, like it was being drawn. So we moved to another parking lot.
I had explained before we left that parking lot that I knew that that was my spirit guide, that it was drawn to us because we were talking about the experiences that I've had with it.
Personally, I felt that it was connected to the land, but I'll trust Alan on his feelings about that. So, earlier we ran around the areas where I've lived that I've had paranormal experiences, and so not wanting to exactly go home yet, we decided to make one last stop. My grandparents owned a house that was in the area, and my grandfather died while living there. And I actually experienced a couple of apparitions in the house that made me believe it was my grandfather. So I figured it would be a little fun to try to find the house and see if, like, I could feel energy from the outside. I want to note now that it was a little bit of a moot point because I couldn't exactly remember what street to turn on to get to their street.
For some reason we decided to go anyway, which is about to be explained.
So we're driving along, and Alan mentions that he took a route that he wasn't initially going to be taking.
Yeah, Chris mentioned a general area that we were going to look and I had already planned on, this was after the gas station, I had already planned on a route to get there, and for some arbitrary reason, I stopped and turned on a different road.
So, the road that he turned onto was the road that we took as while I was a child to go visit Grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I even mentioned like he turned down that road. I was like, oh hey, this is the road that we usually take. So we're on the right path. So while he's driving up, I want to note that it's nighttime. I already noted that the sky was darker than it usually is, mainly because of like cloud cover and other natural events. We're driving up, and it starts getting more of an ominous feeling. There's this huge section of woods.
I want to note that this is after there's one last yellow yield light about halfway down the road. This was after that. It's an end of a residential district that goes into some wooded area.
But we start driving up, and I start feeling kind of panicky, and I start having like chills, not just like chills on your arm, like your goosebumps would break up. It was like chills for your body, like almost like pins everywhere. Not the numb pins either. And after a while, we just noted that there was like a complete darkness in front of us.
Mm-hmm. I asked Chris if he saw it at first. He didn't say much. But I told him that there was a shade in front of the car. That was the only way I could describe it. The lighting in the area was such a way that there was still some reflection off the road, and
the only light I could see was the red stoplights ahead of us.
Yeah, but on the way there was a black shade in front of us, about 50 yards in front of the car the whole way. I felt the need to slow down quite a bit on this road too.
But I was trying to like focus on what was going on in front of us, because it was something not natural, and something to my right kept catching my attention, and it was in the direction of the woods. And then eventually I just had to like just full body spin towards the window and just stare out there, trying to see if I could see anything out there. And that was about the time Alan's like, oh, you feel that too? Then after a while of that, he asked if I saw it. It was like, did you see that? But the reason why I didn't answer is because I was breaking down, and I even broke into tears. But it wasn't like a sad or mournful cry. It was a desperation cry. You know, it's like the feeling I got was someone being chased, and not just chased like, oh, haha, I'm chasing you. It's a I'm going to kill you, chase you. So it was like fear, trying to escape and get away, but you know that whatever you do is like the guy's going to catch up because he's running too. And then turned the corner, and I pretty much blacked out. And I didn't actually come to until we passed the wooden area.
I already turned off the road and stopped in a parking lot.
And I had like tears on my cheeks. We decided to drive by a couple more times because this never has happened to me before, ever. There was only one case that doesn't even come close to it. So after driving by a couple more times, I got the feeling and the sensation that something is going on there. Like, it's still going on. And I felt it was kind of ritualistic. Like they're trying to summon something or gain, like, power or some traditional, like, Satan crap. But I also somehow got the feeling that whatever it is that they were trying to do, they're not succeeding. The only thing that's happening is that these souls are being trapped. So, last drive by, I finally figured out what was happening, because it kept feeling like I was channeling a spirit or something, and I just kept getting someone trying to speak through me. I don't want to say that because I'm uncertain, but help me kept coming to mind, like just help me, help me, help me, help me, and it seemed feminine. I want to reference back in the first one we did where I was talking about my dream, where I went numb and then the words "help me" in a little girl's voice escaped my lips. And that got me to thinking. I asked Alan if he knew if there was like train tracks nearby. And there was one literally down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And what was crazy is that the area was the same as in my dream, except the buildings that was in the area was not in the dream. Because, like I said, the dream was more of like an abandoned railroad. So
he described the area as being abandoned in the dream. He pointed out that certain things that were there weren't there in the dream, like a billboard, a certain building. My thought on that was that maybe in the dream these things hadn't been built yet, and that this was quite some time ago. And the area around this is the wooded area that we drove by actually goes all the way up to the tracks. The tracks run parallel to the road that we were on.
Which was another instance of my dream. We have a very strong feeling that Alan's spirit had guided us there.
Mm-hmm. He was only there the first time we drove down the road, not the next two times. But I've seen him before. I know what he looks like, and the shade that was in front of the car was him. And we got the distinct feeling that he had actually led us down that road, with the intention that we would find what we did tonight. On the way back home, we got the distinct feeling that we were being followed by someone or something.
Oh yeah.
You felt that more than I did. So
yeah, it felt like it was directly in the car, like sitting in the seat behind me. We were playing music, trying to like clear our heads and whatnot.
Yeah, I was trying to get the spirit guide to calm down because he tends to get a little bit carried away sometimes.
So, I actually, and it didn't feel like his spirit.
I don't want to.
It almost felt. It didn't feel like his spirit. It felt like a different one, like almost like a victim from the woods or something. So we had to pull over into like a drive to like a parking lot. We weren't like being illegal or anything.
This was on the way back home.
But I turned around and looked it straight in where I thought its eyes were, and told it needs to leave.
Mm-hmm.
If it was the one the victims were working on the problem. But I personally feel like there is something we can do about this.
Yeah, it was very clear after talking with your mom downstairs that there was a definite reason that my spirit guide had pulled us to that direction.
Now, what I find is interesting is that it was the two of us that was able to be drawn into that area and is able to do something.
I honestly think that it was because my spirit guide was very active last night, though. which resulted today in sort of an emotional spot this afternoon, where I just wasn't feeling right. But I think that it being so active last night was why it was so easy for it to lead us tonight.
I think your part was that your spirit guide is the one that pulled us into that direction, so that I can really pick up and channel what was going on there. And then our wisdom and our
deduction
and like just the two of us combined can probably figure this out.
It was very clearly the two of us that were supposed to do this tonight.
Yeah. So, what we're going to do...
Well, another thing is that after this, my spirit guide was extremely upset still. He made it very known that. We had tried a couple times to calm it down on the way home, strictly for the intention that it wouldn't we wouldn't have a repeat of last night, where he was very active here in the house and may have been responsible for waking the kids up a few times. So we had tried to stop and calm it down, or whatever it needed to do. So we stopped at one of the church's parking lots on the way home and sort of shut the car off and let it run its course and relax for a while, which was it was pretty successful pretty quickly.
So, what I want to do, live, just recording, do a little bit of research on like the area, what's going on, possibilities.
A little bit of research on the aerial.
So yeah, I'm going to go over here and do some Google Maps.
Google Maps of the area?
Yes. Because I'm pretty good at that. You do the thing that I'm not pretty good at, which is over full, like...
Research, archives, news articles, fun stuff. If you find anything back there, pipe up. Okay, hon. Okay, I'm going to start with the idea that I had was local disappearances would probably be a good place to start. Keep that open in another window. What else I'm going to do is the history of Kalamazoo's railroads. We'll see where that goes.
Totally Patrick, a rag for disappearance. I should probably not say any of the names. That'd be a good idea. No. Find that out here. Where is it? This is nuts. This is what I'm looking for, it's not. McDonald's, what the hell? That is not what I searched for. Alright, let's check Google Earth. Wow, it did make it different. Okay, the history of the Kalamazoo Railroad dates back to 1833. Interesting. Kalamazoo Railroad Company. And this is going to take some more in-depth research. We're going to talk to a friend of ours who knows a little bit more about the railroads than we do. The area that we were in, 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. 1833. trying to find it on the map here. Remember, it's only recording us, it's not correct screen? I know. I'm trying to find a better explanation of where we were and that. Because your mom said something that I want to bring up. South West Major. What's your name? Hey, Al's on. He is. Okay, there it is. Drake.
Oh my fucking god.
Hmm.
Come here. Immediately. Immediately.
Immediately.
Utmost urgency. What did I tell you about what else the other day?
No.
The possible lead for an investigation that she mentioned?
Oh, yeah?
I pulled up on Google Maps where we were.
Oh, fuck no.
The Asylum Lake Preserve and the Asylum Lake. This is exactly where we were. And yes, there's walking all the way up to here. This is Stadium. The railroads on Drake are up here. So, the same basic landmass.
And you bastard, you took my job.
I took your job?
I was doing this.
I just went there, man.
Hold on.
The Asylum Lake. Okay,
Oh my god.
that's the area.
Oh my god.
This area here, we should start with. This stretch of road, it started right here. This area that I'm circling right here was where we saw the shade first, where it started, and we followed it all the way up the road, all the way to about here when we got to the light. The tracks that we're talking about this is Drake Road here, and they are I'm having trouble finding them now. There they, yeah, up Drake Road. They are here. These are the tracks that we were talking about that we stopped at. Now, this goes to the Asylum Lake area. We've been hearing a lot about this area lately, actually. There's a friend of ours reported some paranormal activity that she had experienced there, and she is not the first one. What she mentioned was that she had seen an entity that disappeared out of thin air. She's not the only one to have experienced this. There are numerous known deaths here. We did not know tonight, and we only just found out that this is the area that we were investigating tonight all along. This is a pretty profound finding here. So it actually verifies and adds weight to the stories of the paranormal happenings here, because in our investigations we accidentally researched paranormal happenings here. Pretty profound stuff. We were told about a recent death at Asylum Lake. A guy went missing. We're going to close that. This is another picture of the Asylum Lake area, where one of the deaths is reported to have happened. So we got a lead about the Asylum Lake incidents a while ago, and tonight we were led to Asylum Lake. I'm at a loss. I mean, finding that pretty much is better than anything else we've even mentioned tonight. So I'm just gonna give it a rest and be like, this is a stick a fork in it, we're done.
Shh. Ellen doesn't know this, but I'm recording about the Asylum Lake on my own. I've been doing a little bit of research on it. and it turns out that there's like a lot of history about it, and it would seem that this Kalamazoo State Hospital was erected in the site, and it turned out into a psychiatric hospital, which at one point had a TB scare, and they treated some victims of TB. But after a while, there's been this proposal by the Department of Mental Health to phase out the Fort Custer facility, and they're trying to move the children from there to other positions, which happens to be the asylum link. But after a while, the site started becoming less used and less used. Apparently, there's this farm that's associated with it, but it's the colony farm. They were going to use that to have the patients be able to like farm and whatnot. But as the site was being less used, buildings were starting to be demolished, and the people that owned the asylum was trying to keep the property, but a lot of the state officials were urging that it was starting to become surplus to the needs of the hospitals. With the land being too costly to run for nothing, they were going to transform it into a park. There's even after all the buildings were demolished, they were still trying to push that it should not be transformed into a park, which actually tells me that there was something going on there. Like there's something they were trying to cover up, or there's still evidence of something. I cannot locate anything that suggests my theory, but eventually they finally turned it into the park that it is today. There's one thing I want to add though. Kalamazoo City Manager resigns his position following a 3-month leave of absence. Lack of oversight with City Hall staff and neglect over matters. A Kalamazoo City planner serving as interim manager is designated to continue in his temporary city manager position. The primary mover for the new town PUD proposal. With his departure, all likelihood of the project that lingered after its June 1973 suspension is lost. So that seems like there's a lot of things going on in the background, and there's a lot of information that I feel like is missing. I'm going to move on to recent events. In April, this man came up missing. His wife had said that he had went skiing, and he went to Asylum Lake to go skiing. Now I can't find if it's water skiing, or like snow skiing. But when they found his vehicle in the Parkview Avenue lot, his skis were in the vehicle, and they found foot tracks leading up to the lake. Now his wife did say that he always carries more than one pair of skis. But after a while, like days, he was found dead in the water. His skis were still on his feet. Now, they're saying that they used like a lot of high-tech equipment to try and find his body, and I just find it odd that after several days, it was like 22 days, passerby just found him floating in the water. The autopsy says that he drowned in what investigators have ruled as an accident. So, I need more information. Like, what kind of skiing was he doing? Was he doing the snow skiing? But this happened in April, so I'm assuming it's water skiing. But if it's water skiing, wouldn't he have to have a boat to ski? And then the Silent Lake's not that big. I'm just extremely confused. And there isn't much of hills out there if it was snow skiing. And so, if it's water skiing, he had to be with someone, right? For them to do the boat. Unless there's jet skis that you can attach to your shoes that you can just shoot around with nobody to assist you. Even then, I would go like having like a skiing buddy. So, did he just like hit his head and drown? Did it show on the autopsy? I'm not sure. But am I saying there's foul play? I'm no detective. But it seems like there's something missing. But back on the note of the psychiatric hospital, the voice that I heard in my dream was a little girl's voice. And there's mention about these child asylum, a child building. So, could I be channeling one of the spirits of the children there? I don't know. Need to dig up some more information. So until then, I guess this is it. But shh! Don't tell Alan. He doesn't know. He'll get very mad and maybe spank me. So don't tell him. Alright. Signing off. And this is how you drink it. It's tasty.
Adam.